Okay, so White House Plumbers episode 2 is just as crazy and insane as the first one, and again, they didn't have to work that hard to make it that. So it starts off with Dita Bird, who Dita Beard, who we didn't know her name at the time, but is working on some type of memo that concerns the convention and Nixon and Mitchell, and we have no idea what's going on. Well, those who don't know history don't know what's going on. So this was still in 71. So then we jump to summer of 72, which was bizarre, with Hunt and Liddy deciding to meet with a couple of prostitutes. And at first you're like, okay, now what? Because they have wandering eyes, we know that. They showed that on the airplane in last episode. But they want them to get a bunch of prostitutes together, go to this yacht in Miami where the Democrats are going to be, and basically get them into compromising positions so the Republicans can blackmail them. And of course the prostitutes are looking forward to it because they're getting paid. That's why they do these things. It's not like they're Republicans or anything. They just, want to get a paycheck. So, and then we find out that Liddy is even crazier. Now, this I couldn't find anything to back it up in real life, but him putting his hand over a flame and burning the hand. Because unlike TV, there are consequences to that. Oh my God. But I was able to find out that Liddy was really excited about, offering to kill people. That is true. Hunt did admit that, yes, that is a thing. So then we move to the present day, and we're in January, I think, of 72. So I'm not quite 4 months. Or actually, when was this? January 25th? In that case, I was 4 months. So Liddy is walking to his office, and he covertly grabs this package. And I'm like, that package is huge because it's obviously drawings. It looks like a poster board or something. It's not like you can hide it. So, I don't know if he was that excited about spy games or something in real life, but this show is definitely depicting him as someone who's a little too excited to be in spycraft. But anyway, he walks to his office, and there's a new head of security, James McCord. And he asks for his ID, and he's like, dude, you saw me 5 minutes ago. You know who I am. So then we meet Jeb Magruder. And I'm sorry, his whole name is a caricature. But no, everything on this is real. Like they said in the first episode, most of these people were guilty, so they're not changing the names to protect the innocent because there pretty much isn't anyone who's innocent. So he goes in, and Jeb is, chatting outwardly about what's in the package, what they're doing. And he's like, don't tell people what I'm actually doing. It's like, dude, you're in the White House. This is part of the White House committee. It's not like he's telling, the entire, everyone in DC what you're doing. This is White House area. This is, no. No, sweetie, that's not the way life works. And then Howard Hunt scares the bejeebers out of Magruder by already waiting. I guess they have this desperate need to prove that they're useful. So Hunt snuck into Liddy's office, and so we find out that Liddy has a gun with a silencer on it because that's the gun that James Bond uses. So obviously he thinks he's a real life James Bond because that's mentally stable and not dangerous at all. So he starts waving the gun around, and Magruder's like, oh dear God, please put that away. And Liddy said the first thing that actually I agree with and makes sense. He said, people will feel safer with this in my desk. Yes, it's safer in your desk, not in your hand. I will 100% agree with that. And so we end up with the scandal du jour, which is somehow Dita Bird's Beard. Why do I have a hard time with that? Dita Beard's memo. Now Dita Beard, which this isn't fully explained, but she is a lobbyist for ITT, and she wrote up this memo, which is a quid pro quo, where ITT will pay $400,000 to rent out a couple of floors of hotel rooms for the Republican National Convention in San Diego if they make this antitrust lawsuit go away. And somehow it got leaked, and I think Jack Anderson, actually, let me see if he's still alive. I looked up everyone else because so far the only person who's still alive is John Dean. Alright, let's see. No, he is also not alive anymore. But anyway, so he leaked this memo. Somehow he got his hands on it. It's never explained how he got his hands on this memo. But he got this memo, and he leaked it because that's what journalists do. They get a bombshell. They let the people know because that's their damn job, is to let people know when corrupt people are doing corrupt things. And so now that's what they need to concentrate on, because before then they were just spinning their wheels trying to come up with re-election scenarios to help with the re-election. And one of them is Project Gemstone, which is a thing. And so they go through all these gems, And I read that that actually wasn't all what they had on the show. They had a lot more in real life, which, so in many ways, that's why I'm saying they don't have to make this crazy. This is already crazy. So, they do Project Gemstone. John Mitchell is not amused by any of this, and unlike Liddy, who's completely oblivious and has no self awareness whatsoever, no situational awareness, no self awareness. And Hunt is like trying to stop Liddy from continuing because he can see that Mitchell is getting angry and possibly was going to get stabby. We don't know about that one, but so he tells him, just destroy everything. Don't give it to someone to throw in a dumpster. Destroy it all, so nobody has any idea that this was even being thought about. And so he so that both Hunt and Liddy are dejected. Before this, the Hunts took out the Liddies to a country club, and even Dorothy was trying to get Hunt to chill. And even though they talk about his work because she's actually knowledgeable about what's going on, whereas Fran's like, yeah, we have nothing to do that. We want nothing to do with that. Okay. So they encounter Lisa and Howard St. John. Both of them high as a kite. So they decide to go over and say hi because they're like, saying hi is not a good idea, but not saying hi is even worse. And so Liddy proved once again that he has no filter and no sense of decorum, because he points out that the only thing he knows about Lisa is her car accident and hitting her head, and everybody else is like, okay, I want to just have the floor swallow me up whole. So as Lisa is leaving, she decides that she's going to be a good Samaritan, I guess is the best way to put it, and help out this black waiter by getting offended on his behalf and shouting at the manager of the country club because he said something racist, and this guy's like, yeah, I have no idea what she's talking about. And maybe he does, and he just wants to keep his job, so he doesn't want to, make any waves. Or maybe she's just being way too sensitive on behalf of black people and making out something racist that isn't. It could go either way, but this is the 70s, so it's pretty likely that he said a bunch of racist shit. So her father got her to apologize and got her to calm down. She's about to leave. So what does Howard have to do? He stops her and makes her apologize. Because why? The situation was diffused. She was leaving. Which, by the way, we find out that his tab is growing steadily. So Then another situation with Lisa is she locks herself in the bathroom and she's not responding to her brother or her mother. And Howard is like, I'm just going to beat the door down. So he kicks the door down, and it turns out she's, I don't know, applying nail polish on her toenails or something. And it's like, you're 23 years old. How come you couldn't just say, oh, I'm just doing my nails or something? Why make them concerned that you're doing something harmful? What the hell? Anyway, so he gets a call from the White House because it turns out that the Dita Beard memo thing has, the shit has really hit the fan. And so he and Liddy see this as, oh, goody goody, if we can solve this, we can get back into the good graces of the White House. Power hungry morons. So they figure out how to deal with Dita Beard. And so first Liddy goes to talk to her. And they're discussing, that the best way to get out of having to testify is, do you have any medical issues? I have angina. What the hell is angina? And so suddenly she's being whisked off to Denver after having a cardiac episode, supposedly. And so they think, okay, that's taken care of, problem solved. Nope. The senators are persistent. They go visit her in her hospital room, and so then Howard goes to try to talk to her as a member of ITT. So he has his wig on. He has his toupee on, and even Dita's daughter is like, it's on backwards, and why are you wearing a wig? So he takes his wig off while talking with Dita. Now, last episode, we saw that he stupidly left film in the camera for them to process, for the CIA to process, and realize that these two goobers were in LA. And they were posing in front of the psychiatrist's office and the sign. And so I'm just waiting for that to be another oopsies. Now, security cameras everywhere weren't a thing back in the 70s. And Dita is a Republican, so I would think that wouldn't be an issue, but maybe. Because people do the darndest things when they're trying to save their own asses. So he convinces her not to tell the truth. And, which, it's questionable whether she would have just done that anyway, because her daughter apparently works for the RNC and she's being shunned because of this. As if it's somehow her mother's fault that this scandal is happening. She didn't leak it. So the senators come to talk to her, and she fakes a cardiac episode. And just so you know, in real life, even though Liddy, I think it was Liddy, who said that she has this no cardiologist could find any evidence for any type of heart disease. But and Dita herself was like, Liddy had nothing to do with this. I flew myself to Denver. So either and I think it was Mitchell who said that it was Liddy who took her. So it could be that he was trying to throw Liddy under a bus, or Dita just, wanted to be given credit for a smart idea or something. I don't know. Either way. So that's been solved. We saved John Mitchell. He's not going to have to worry about getting into trouble for the scandal. And he comes up to this group of knuckleheads and says, thank you for helping me with that. Oh, and Project Gemstone is on, but we're only giving you $250,000, $250,000. He's like, what? Oh, but we're only doing one of and it's Project Opal. And Project Opal, of course, is the White House break-in. Watergate break-in. So for those who don't know, then we see them in front of the Watergate Hotel. Now, the Watergate Hotel is an apartment complex. It's apartments and a hotel, so that's why it's so freaking huge. But that whole building that they showed, that's Watergate. So they're all looking at Watergate, trying to figure out how they're going to go about this. And then, of course, they had this funny about where's the Watergate? Because, making fun of the fact that he's too stupid to realize it's not a Watergate, but that's the Watergate Hotel. So, yeah, everybody in this show is being portrayed so stupid. They're stupid and power hungry, and some of them sound certifiably insane. Oh, and just a fun aside, in last episode when Liddy said that he's not a Nazi, like I said, he was a talk radio host for a while in the 90s. But, he was basically Rush Limbaugh before Rush Limbaugh. He was very fascist. So, the jury's out on that one. Just because he wasn't a Nazi towards possibly Jews, that doesn't mean... you heard the way he... Well, first off, it was Dita. So... But he didn't seem to have a hard time calling gays and lesbians homos and lesbos. So, I don't know. Maybe he's a bigot. Maybe he was just playing along with her, but I'm gonna say that he agrees with her. So, yeah. Let me see if there's anything I missed on this crazy train. Oh, yes. To finish off the Lisa thing. And Howard not knowing when to quit. So, he comes home. Oh, Dad, where have you been? It's like, Denver. Thanks, Mom. And, so they convince him to play Scrabble, and Lisa is a little... Actually, both Lisa and Howard St. John are a little iffy about the fact that he'd be playing Scrabble with them, and it becomes horribly apparent very quickly because she wants to use the Scrabble word of Xerox, but that's a proper noun. You're not supposed to use that. We're playing for fun. We're not even scoring. Well, what's the point of that? Did you not notice people putting tiles down and not keeping track of their score? uh, so he's like, it'll be anarchy without rules. So Lisa showed him anarchy by throwing everything on the floor. And Dorothy responded with, that wasn't necessary. And Howard thinks that she meant Lisa, but I think she was talking about him. Because that literally there was literally no reason for him to do that. So we're seeing his life not being that great. So I assume that next episode will focus more back on Liddy. We did see Kevin next week. So maybe from now on it's just going to focus on Howard Hunt and his family and not Liddy and Fran unless they're meeting with the Hunts. But so we're 2 episodes down. And there's 8 episodes. So we have 6 episodes left. So, and 4 attempts at a White House break-in. Which still leaves us with 2 episodes that aren't about the break-in. So either they're going to go into the aftermath, or there are more scandals that I don't know about, because this is all pretty much new to me. Because like I said, when this time period started, this episode started, when the shit hit the fan with Dita Beard, who if you didn't recognize her, because I certainly didn't, was played by Kathleen Turner. I was 4 months. So I'm between 4 and 7 months when the scandal is taking place. So yeah, I certainly have no reason to remember this, and I don't remember learning much about this in school. I mean, the Watergate scandal, Watergate break-ins, yes, but not to this extent. So anyway, I think I've covered everything I wanted to this episode. And, yeah, so with that, I will see you in the next video.